Hi.
I should let you do the intro.
Best intro yet. Welcome to our District podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Georgia.
And this is episode 13.
Yeah.
Lucky 13. Or is it unlucky 13?
Maybe that's why I've been so nervous for this episode.
Yeah, it's like this unspoken thing.
Oh no.
We feel kind of nervous and unprepared.
I don't know why. But like you said, that usually means it's a good episode because we end up chatting.
Yeah. Anyways, more cool things to talk about this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have an artist, a Canadian artist that I'm going to talk about, and we're going to touch base on the whole thing going on with CBC and Jian Ghomeshi.
Mm-hmm. And I have an exhibition that I literally just got home from, so it's pretty fresh in my brain.
Cool. I just wanted to say something about last week's episode. I was talking about how no albums from an individual artist had gone platinum this year so far. And so
Did Taylor Swift do it?
Well, here's the thing. She's so close. Well, not so close, but she's getting there. Like, the numbers are showing that she probably will reach it. So her album came out last week.
No, I think, wasn't it like Monday?
A couple days ago? I don't know. I don't even know what date it is today.
Today's the 29th, and I think it came out on the 27th or the 28th.
I said it last week, I can't remember now,
okay.
But just a couple days ago it came out. Within 24 hours it sold 400,000 copies, so almost 500,000. It's probably at 500,000 now.
I know there were lots of people that pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
I kept seeing that on Tumblr. I don't know why I follow so many people who are really into Taylor Swift.
I don't know either.
Maybe it's a sign. Maybe I would be really I don't think so.
I don't know. She definitely has catchy songs, but there's just something about her that I just can't get into.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a very strong songwriter. Anyways, so she's pretty much already halfway there, and she still has all of November and December. So, I don't know. I feel like she'll do it. Taylor Swift.
That would be a pretty interesting claim to have to your name. The only album to... Yeah, do that in 2014.
Apparently all her albums do it. Her last one, Red, went over 1 million, so I guess it's just, she's just really fortunate. But, anyways, I just wanted to keep you guys up to speed on that if you didn't follow along, like if you didn't go on to Twitter and find out that info for yourself. There's what I've got for you. Okay, so we'll go into our Jian Ghomeshi CBC thing. It's been big news in Canada, especially in and around Toronto where the CBC office is. This week, when was it? Monday?
I think it was Sunday night, everything sort of...
Yeah, he got fired on Sunday.
Or asked to leave quietly or be fired.
And I guess he got fired. So it all kind of comes after the Toronto Star put out this article saying that 3 women had come out anonymously saying that Jian Ghomeshi attacked them physically without consent during sexual encounters. And he put out this huge thing on his Facebook to let everyone, like all his fans, know that he wasn't with CBC anymore, and he said that it was all consensual and like his side's the truth, and saying that the other women that came out with this information were just doing it to knock him off the high horse kind of thing.
Yeah, he kept saying to defame him. And I thought that was an interesting word to use. Like, I think it's one thing to be, like, proud of your successes in your career, but, like, he's saying they want to make me not be famous anymore, which is, like, what's so great about being famous.
And, like Jian Ghomeshi, yes, you're well known, but I don't consider you a famous person.
Yeah.
You're just a radio broadcaster. So John is the host of a CBC show called Q. It's been out for like 8 years now. It's a really good program. I used to really like listening to it in the afternoon. He's very well spoken, and and his research is thorough, and the program itself was really good. So when I first read that, read the whole thing about what was going on with CBC and him, and I read his Facebook post, my initial reaction was to side with him. And like, what? Like, I guess I can not like understand, but like his side made sense to me. Like
it was convincing, and because he was the first one to get a story out there, it pulled a lot of people to his side, I think. But like in the last few days, I've totally swung around.
Me too.
Like,
and now I look at his picture and I'm like, you creepy guy.
Exactly, because I read a really good article by Owen Pallett this morning.
Me too.
Yeah, that was a good one, and it totally nailed it. He was like, what do these women have to gain by lying about this? Mm-hmm. You know, like, why would they lie about this? And it is totally a part of our victim blaming culture to instantly be like, well, he's this guy in power and they just want to see him fall, or they just want their 5 minutes of fame or whatever.
But they're anonymous, so they're not getting
they're
that.
not even. So.
And there was like a fourth one that came out that used to work for CBC that said that, I guess he said some inappropriate things sometime at work, and she approached like head office about it, and they didn't do anything about it, so she ended up leaving CBC, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And still, like, nothing more has really come out to, like, they haven't gone to court or anything, and nothing's been told, though, this is actually what happened. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds, but...
But even the legal action that's happening right now, it's not anything to do with the victims trying to do anything to Ghomeshi. It's all Ghomeshi's lawsuit against CBC.
Yeah, he's suing them for $50 million.
For, like, wrongful termination based on his...
and using...
sexual preferences.
I wrote it. He's accusing them of using unfair moral judgment of his personal private life in the decision to fire him. You know, and that makes sense. Like, if you're doing your job right and well, then why should you get fired for what you're doing in your personal life? But he's also a very prominent host for the CBC, and this whole story's already ruined his reputation. Like, there's been a couple like petitions online that people are signing to kind of like reinstate him back into his position with CBC. But even if he was to go back on air now, it wouldn't be the same. And, you know, like how I just said, I like looking at a picture of it now, I'm getting like kind of slimy guy feelings. I wouldn't want to listen to the radio show anymore, which is too bad because it was a great program. But yeah, it's unfortunate for both parties.
But at the same time, I think it's culturally good that we're talking about stuff like this, because consent is a huge deal. And I know in his accounts he was trying to say everything was consensual, and the CBC fired him based on what these sex acts were, as opposed to whether or not there was consent. But actually, legally in Canada, I read an article, and it'll be linked below, saying that in the eyes of the law in Canada, no one can consent to bodily harm. So if someone hits you and it leaves a mark, like, you can't consent to that, and they have assaulted you in the eyes of the law.
I didn't know that.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. It's interesting, especially in the sort of BDSM community, you know, like, I don't know. It's all over the place, and I messaged you this morning even asking, like, do we want to touch this whole thing, or should we just let it be? But I think it's good to be talking about this, you know?
Yeah, and by the time our episode comes out, it'll already have been like a week and a bit past, so it'll kind of probably fizzled away a little bit, but
I think this is going to be a long, drawn-out thing. Like, even, I mean, right now it's sort of at, like, the height of everything, like, but I feel like this is going to be an ongoing thing for a while before it gets settled.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of got that whole vibe of like when teachers and students have like relationships. Like it's just something about it is just reminding me of that, and like who gets the blame, and you know.
Exactly. Which leads me to there has been some issues of consent and abuse of power within the YouTube community, or YouTube is so huge now that it's like YouTube communities. And there's a great project happening called We Support You, and it's just getting people on YouTube to create a sort of collective video in support of victims of abuse and abusive relationships. So from the Arts District podcast, we wanted to say we are here for you. And hopefully people get through that stuff. And I know it's totally up to victims to decide whether or not they want to come forward. But I think people should feel safe in doing that. And I think it says a lot that in a case like this, these women don't feel safe leaving anonymity, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what would have happened if, like, the person in Jian Ghomeshi's position was a woman and the accusers were 3 males. Like, how it's different when it's a man in power, you know?
Yeah.
Different variables, but...
And how, I know. There's so many facets to this. Like, he's hired a huge PR firm. And I'm sure he was kind of instructed to get his side out there first.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so easy, especially in our society, to be like, point the finger and go, crazy lady. And everyone just goes, oh, yeah, crazy lady. But, like, how messed up is that? That we're just like, oh, yeah, women are crazy.
Yeah.
That's not how things should be. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. And hopefully... some cultural changes come out of it.
Yeah.
You know? Now that people are talking about that stuff.
Did you see the pictures of the CBC? Like, I guess like the day they fired him or the day after, like they took down all of his pictures inside the building. So you see like these walls that have just been like ripped wallpaper off, and it looks like all patchy.
Wow.
People were like in the CBC tweeting like they don't waste any time, you know, getting rid of his image.
Yeah.
I thought, it's messed up. One day you're like living life normal and you're on top of the world, and the next is that you're brought down. Yeah. But you know, he must have been known this was coming for a while. Like that's not something that just happens overnight. And it was only a matter of time. Yeah.
So we'll be watching as this unfolds.
I wonder when their court date will be. But
it's probably going to take ages.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty big in news right now. I mean, actually, this past week has been kind of heavy in Canadian news. But for the most part, it's not usually like this. It's just kind of random daily stories. But with what went on in Ottawa, and now it's what just went on with CBC and Jian Ghomeshi, and they can't be compared at all because they're two totally different things. But it's big news in Canada. We just wanted to mention it because it kind of linked in with the arts and radio and culture and all that.
Yeah, it felt like kind of a big thing to skip over, so.
Yeah. So,
shall we move along?
Moving along.
All right, so the exhibition I just came from is the 60th annual Type Directors Club exhibition. The Type Directors Club is based out of New York City, and they've been operating for over 65 years. They pretty much just promote excellence in typography. So, you can like become a member, and they have a cool space in Manhattan that they rent out and have lots of events and awards and stuff like that. So I just saw this exhibition at L Space Gallery, which is the gallery at the Lakeshore campus of Humber College. And it's actually pretty crazy that I was able to see it there, because this exhibition started in New York, and it travels globally, but there's only 7 locations that it travels to. So, like, it comes to Toronto, and that's all for Canada, and it came here to, like, literally, like, 10 minutes away.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it was cool. I actually have to do an assignment on it for my typography class, but I thought I would share with you because I didn't know anything about the Type Directors Club, and I came straight home and I was like on Facebook, follow on Twitter, this stuff is cool, you know? So some overall themes, there's definitely trends happening in type. There's a lot of sort of retro styled fonts being used, like hand lettering is still really popular, and then still seeing lots of sort of like ultra bold versus like super lightweight fonts being mixed together. Yeah.
So how did they exhibit this?
It was mostly sort of posters, and then they had a table of books. So some of it was like photographs, because there were whole like branding schemes. So you would see like a photograph of a stack of business cards along with like their letterhead and like all of the branding for a company. There was also sort of posters, packaging, like I said, brand identity and web design stuff, as well as like books and magazines. Yeah, so it was really cool. There were a couple pieces with like metallic elements in them, and they were really neat. And some really interesting like sort of distorted fonts. Yeah. So it's worth looking into. Unfortunately, this closes on Friday, the 31st, the day before this podcast comes out.
How long has it been there?
Since October 22nd, so it was a pretty short run in Toronto.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like searching and searching their website, trying to find what the 7 stops are, and I couldn't find it. So if you find it, like, link us to it.
You think, yeah, they would have that, like, tour dates?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was searching and searching and searching and couldn't find it. So hopefully some of you somewhere get the opportunity to see it.
Did you have a favorite font?
It was really hard. Like, I was supposed to pick a favorite, and I'll have to go back through the photos that I took, because there were a lot of things that jumped out, like just really unique things that you wouldn't think of. There were some fonts that were distorted in really interesting ways, like sort of in water, but not, like sometimes you see like wavy letters and it doesn't really look like anything, but like this really interacted with the photograph it was on top of. Stuff like that is really cool.
Are you gonna put some pictures in?
Yeah, I'll see. Maybe I'll check their Facebook page and grab some photos from the New York opening, because my photos are not great.
Okay. I was actually thinking about fonts on my drive here, and I was thinking, like, so people create fonts. When they get used, do they get like a royalty? Or is it like a license that like Microsoft would?
It depends.
Buy?
Some fonts are really old, so they're like open
public domain.
But yeah, like font designers get royalties. I mean, it's not like a glamorous life.
I'm a font designer.
Yeah, and some company, like there are large font design houses that own the rights to lots of different type. I'm trying to think of names of some of them. I think ITC is a big one, and so you'll see if you're like looking through font books, it'll be like ITC Arial, or no, that's not true. Arial was designed, I'm pretty sure, for Microsoft to imitate Helvetica. Anyway, but yeah, so there is definitely licensing, and sometimes there are issues where, like, I was reading, I can't remember if I was reading it in my type textbook or if I was reading it in...
I think it stopped. Sorry, we're just fixing our camera.
Huh. I don't know why that wasn't that long, was it? Maybe it was.
No, it was. I was gonna stop shortly, but
okay.
anyways, yeah.
Where was I? So yeah, you do have to license fonts. Sometimes there are issues where, like big campaigns and stuff don't license the font and then get into trouble and...
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely a thing.
Huh. I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's cool.
Fonts. There's a good website. I don't remember what it's called now. I had to use it once. And they have a ton of different fonts that you can like download and put into your thing. And I got like this one that had Christmas lights on it. So I wrote, my letters were inside little Christmas lights. It was really nice. Yeah. Very festive.
Yeah, it's unreal how many fonts you can get online. Like, and people that just create fonts. It's pretty awesome.
For every occasion. All right. That's all you had for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have an artist that I want to talk to you about. This is an artist that's really new to me. I just found out about her the other day when I was at work, and people couldn't believe that I hadn't heard of her yet, because apparently I'm the one that's supposed to know all this stuff about new music, especially new Canadian music. So it was kind of cool to get told by my coworkers about someone that I didn't know about.
But that's how you get in the know, right?
Yeah. So this is an artist. She's from Calgary, and she's 25 years old. Singer-songwriter named Kaisa. She is out, well, she's really popular right now. She's got a song called Hideaway, which I have never heard until I was at work the other day, and people were grooving, and I was like, what song is this? I've never heard it. They're like, you've never heard it? This song's Hideaway. And yeah, anyways, so I checked her out, and I was really intrigued by her because Canada doesn't have like any exports like her. And it's really neat to see somebody who's Canadian in this style, like electropop dance music kind of genre, who's just soaring up the charts. Because like I think our last biggest export was Justin Bieber, and we all kind of want to forget about that. Yeah. So, you know, maybe Kaisa can bring us back to where we were before Justin Bieber, and it's neat, and, you know, it makes me wonder if there's a new wave of musical talent coming out of our country that is totally different than what we usually put out. Like, I feel like a lot of our bigger artists now, maybe just because I listen to a lot of CBC, and all the music on the CBC is of a similar style, that kind of roots-based folk, light rock kind of music, like Feist and Serena Ryder and all that. And here you have this young girl from Calgary that's totally taking advantage of the electronic dance movement that's becoming really popular right now. And her music's interesting. I listened to Hideaway, and then I listened to this song called No Enemies. There's videos of both on YouTube. I kind of liked Hideaway, or No Enemies more. It reminded me of like Janet Jackson, like not early 90s Janet Jackson dance, and like early Kylie Minogue. Kaisa's actually written for Kylie Minogue, which is probably why I drew that comparison. There was a strong similarity between the two of them. And she's written for Rihanna. And apparently she has written some songs for the upcoming Rihanna album, so maybe she'll be on that, depending if they get picked or not. But yeah, super impressed. You know, I always am really intrigued when the person's really close in age to ourselves. And Kaisa, for example, she went to Berklee College of Music in Boston to study music, and that's where she really honed her songwriting. And that is so similar to kind of what I did, that it's inspiring for me. It's like, my turn's coming, you know? So yeah, I like that. And I used to never really embrace people that were doing kind of the same thing as me in music if they were around my age, because I thought of it as a competition. And now it's so stupid to do that. Now you can learn so much from them, and you know, it's just really cool. So the song Hideaway, the really big one that's out right now, this morning it had 142 million YouTube views, which is pretty crazy. Wow. It came out in February, I think. Yeah, and it's a neat video. It's all in like one take. She's like walking down the street and walking. Kind of similar to like that OK Go video back in high school where they're all walking on treadmills and like doing crazy things.
Yeah, that is so funny because I literally just watched a TED Talk about the next video they did after that with that crazy machine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I like that. Yeah, I like those little one take videos. I just think they're neat. And you know, she broke her rib that day that they were filming this video. Yeah, so she was like enduring serious pain while doing all these crazy dance moves. And
oh, whoa.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
apparently she didn't move for like a month after, but
lots of songwriting time.
you know, it just goes to show that this person has a lot of determination. You know, they could have said, we'll reschedule this and push it back another 2 months, but then what would have happened then? You know, she did it, she soldiered through it, and now it's almost at 150 million views. Like, that's crazy. So it's off of an album. It's her first full-length album. It came out October 21st of this year, so not too long ago, just a couple days ago. Out on the indie label called Local Legend. I tried to look more into them online, but they don't have like a legitimate website. They just have a Facebook page, and there's not a whole lot of information on it. I think Kaisa is probably like their biggest, if not like only artist. It kind of made me wonder if it was like her own that she started, but there wasn't really a lot of information on it, so I'm gonna find that out. Yeah, so the album's called Sound of a Woman. It's 13 tracks, very dancey music. It's not like a genre that I'm familiar with so much. It's kind of like when I talked about Jessie Ware. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, I think.
But those two, I really like Jessie's music for like her kind of subtle, kind of just like slow vibes. I don't know. Whereas Kaisa's more in your face with the dance beats. But, you know, time and a place, I think it's cool. And I didn't listen to the whole album, but I'm interested to see if there's songs that are of a different pace, or if they're all dancey, because Hideaway and No Enemies are both pretty up there dancey. No Enemies was a cool video too. I think she's going along the lines of like concept, maybe. I don't know. I think it was all done. I don't know. It's not all one take. Kind of seems like it. Anyways, yeah, I'm not sure which one I'll throw in here for you guys to check out. But I definitely recommend going on YouTube and seeing her other things. It's great to support someone who's Canadian and young and doing something really refreshing for Canadian music. She's got her very own original, unique look. She does this crazy thing with her hair. It's like in like these little like ponytail bun things all the way down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she's like a little person. Like she's tiny. You know, bright red lipstick, very quirky, and you know, not trying to be anything that she's not. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. She's been kicking around a while writing songs for other people, but I guess now she finally decided to see what it'd be like to do it all herself. Lots of determination I sense from her. So yeah, wishing her the best with her music career. She has an interesting background, actually. I forgot to mention this. She was in the Royal Canadian Navy, training to be in it. And I guess when it actually got to the being into the Navy part, it wasn't. She liked the boot camp side and all the early stages of training. But anyways, that's kind of how she learned how to play guitar, around like the Navy sing-alongs and stuff. She taught herself. So the early music was kind of folky, singer-songwriter, just because she was limited by what she could do at that point in time. But as she progressed, then she got into figuring out more of what her natural style would be, and that's what led her to what she's doing now, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so
neat.
Yeah.
Do you want to put in a clip of the video? Or?
Yeah, maybe I'll put in No Enemies, because Hideaway is so popular, you can just find it easily online and check it out. So we'll put in a clip for No Enemies. Enjoy it.
We have no enemies.
Kaisa from Calgary, and yeah, I hope you thought she was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Go search Hideaway online. And yeah, we're excited to see what becomes of this young lady from Calgary.
Yeah, she sounds really cool.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's all.
That's it for episode 13.
Okay. A bit shorter. We kind of had a long one for you last week, but
Yeah, tired ourselves out a little bit.
yeah. Next week will be interesting. Hopefully we can film an episode, but
It's getting busy.
it's getting very busy and some upcoming life changes, so we'll try and work around it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in this week for episode 13, and hope you had an excellent Halloween last night.
Yeah.
Georgia and I were at a party. We haven't gone to it yet, but today when you watch this, we'll have gone last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome November.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.